message. We do not whisper, but we roar. Arr. uh, where each word is to strike the hammer, each opinion is to spark on the anvil. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for those who dare, whatever it takes. The fire begins now. So tonight we're speaking about a little bit about mental health. I have a friend that's going to join me where we're going to talk about mental health in men. It's Movember. How's everyone's beard going? My beard is here. Let's see if we can get Verner on and see if he can hear me and sound. And Verner, can you hear me?
Hey, ja Cobus, ek hoor jou baie dankie.
Okay. So for those who are ready to listen tonight, damn, I must flip my camera so that everyone can see how this gentleman looks like. Where can I flip camera?
Ek moes dit doen vir Movember, ek moes.
Yeah, but you had a beard, man. So where did the beard go?
Ja, just shaved it, Jacobus. Tried a different type of look and trying to keep the tradition of Movember going. And normally shaving at every December, the 1st, I shave, I go completely bare, like my mom bared me, brought me into this world, so then regrow. So yeah, maybe I must take you up on the challenge, Mr. Visser.
Yeah. So you look like the old Barney Bernardo type of guys in the past. He was just now toilet at the end.
Yeah. I did carry it like that the whole day, but it was a rough one. So yeah,
But you must bring it up, let it curl inwards. You know those.
I'll do that for you next time, Jacobus. Definitely.
Okay, so we're just getting some people to join and to get ready and to quickly talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Um, so, my friend, thank you for being here. I just want to check where's our chat. Um, captions, music. There's the chat. Okay, so no chats at the moment. Okay, my friend, let's get it going. So, guys, tonight it's Movember, as we spoke. Movember is more for guys that goes and have cancer, so prostate cancer, and to raise funds and awareness for it. However, most of you also don't know, yesterday on the 19th was a World International Man Day. Now, I don't know, women celebrate Women's Day. I never knew there was a Men's Day. Did you know, Verner?
No, I did not know that. No. So
Oh,
you must give me the date. I'm going to celebrate it properly twice next year.
yeah, it's the 19th of November is World Men's Day. It's for men to be men and celebrate being a man. Unfortunately, nobody's celebrating it. You know, we have Women's Day celebrated, other Women's Month celebrated. Our men are not celebrated in today's times. And but before we go, Vanner, just a quick run around. Who's Vanner? Where does Vanner come from? So those who are listening can just know who's Vanner.
Yeah, so Verner is from the Northern Cape. Born and bred in the Kalahari. I've been raised there. And yeah, been in business entrepreneur my whole life since I was 21. Been in commercial property, construction industry. And then I ventured into the lodging scene, had guest lodges for 14, 15 years, and eventually sold them. And yeah, went on a little bit of a journey, a wild ride, roller coaster type of thing, bad decisions and restoration. And in 2010, God actually called me to run a men's group, and I couldn't see myself doing it. 2023, just after COVID, exactly the same thing. And yeah, from there, Kingsmen were born, got certified as a coach, and yeah, this is what I do today. Apart from building businesses, that's the thing. Met Cobus, yeah, awesome journey. So that's Verner. Stay in the garden route currently. Lovely place, love it. Restoration time.
Well, for those who don't know where the garden route is, it is in George Neisner,
George,
Mossel
nice.
by Hartenbos, the best place in the country to be
Definitely.
after the West Coast. I have to do a shout out to the West Coast because they are my client and Mariasburg and stuff. So, sorry, brother, I have to put because they won the award for the best municipality. So I just want to put it out there. But
Yeah,
you stay
luckily we didn't participate there.
you stay in the second best place, just to shout out. And I think that helps a lot with men's with health, mental health, and the environment that plays a part.
Definitely.
And but you're originally from the Free State, am I right?
No, Northern Cape, originally
Northern.
Northern Cape, and then I went to Free State for about year 6 months. So I've been in a sabbatical for 2 years and about 6 months,
Okay.
trying
So
to find myself, find my feet again, and build this vision, this dream that I have called Kingsman. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So Kingsmen were born, and your passion is men. Why men? Why would you say? Do you think us men need coaching and help?
Jacobus, you know what? I think society has built walls around what men are actually supposed to be. And why I'm saying this is if you go back to the original design of man or men, they're the hunter gatherer. So they go out, they fend, they bring back, they hunt, they bring back the meat, they provide for their families, they protect the families, and they raise families. Uh, I think in the Western world, Jacobus, there's this narrative running around men that you're not allowed to be the man, the hunter. Yes, we go into corporate business or entrepreneur route, or we go towards working for somebody. And I think that it creates a lot of frustration. The guys that I work with, I see the frustration, even in the religious part of this thing. The walls that's built and say, listen, you need to work or operate within a certain framework as a man to be acceptable by this community and not be toxic. This is the parameters as a man. And I started looking into this whole thing, why men are so frustrated today. What is the reason behind that? Even believers, non-believers, the frustration levels. And I've seen, I go to church, Jacobus, I'm a firm believer and a follower of Christ. And I'm sitting in the church and I'm not there for the sermons. I'm looking and I'm thinking about why is men stepping back and women moving forward? And nothing against the women. I just see this cycle of men withdrawing, and I started asking the question: what is the reason for this?
So if I had to jump in there, I just want to quickly say, Nazneen says, yeah, men's mental health is often overlooked because they are supposed to be strong. And interesting, she did a video on TED Talks, and I watched it today, and it's a powerful talk. And one thing she said that came out there was you have to love yourself, right? And the importance of loving yourself. So let me say this, and I'm just putting it out there. Men are where men are today because of what the world has happened in the world. If you think about it, there's now this drive around GBV, and I understand gender-based violence is out there and it happens, but and they talk about toxic masculinity. I think
Yeah,
growing up, we grew up in an era that men could still be men. We could still
yeah,
be proud to be men. However, times have changed that women don't need men. I've met now a few ladies in their late 50s and 40s that don't want to get married. They don't want a man in their life. They either have hurt one relationship that got hurt. They don't need men. They're independent, so they don't need the financial support. And most of them don't want children. I'm saying most of them because I'm making now just a few that I've met. And
yeah,
okay, so what is the man's role? Now, think about it. There's also, I'm divorced. I went through a divorce that broke me. I think most don't understand what men go through because we don't have access to our kids, right? I only see my kids' holidays. So the women even have more control about where the children is going to be. It's 99% of the time it's with the mom, right? And then she controls if the dad sees them or not. So the dad loses that. The other thing that I see that happens a lot as well, if you think about it, a man also don't have a choice when it comes to women as well. They have the choice if they want to keep a baby or not. The man doesn't have that choice, right? So our power is being taken away, and now in the world, and let's be honest now as well, and I'm going to put it out there. In South Africa, for men is now, if you don't start your own business as a white male in South Africa,
Mhm.
what's the chances of you getting a job out there? So now we can't even provide, we can't get a job because of our skin color. I'm going to be honest, I at one point applied for so many jobs, and all the time I heard I'm either not the right color, or I'm too old, or I'm too young. And so that is also an impact on in the mental health and emotional.
Yes.
So it's
Jacobus,
more than just to be strong. It's all of this that has an impact. Banner. I know it's a mouthful.
no, this is definitely like you say, Jacobus, and yes, definitely you cannot ignore that. There's a lot of brilliant women out there, strong women that actually stand their ground and give men a run for their money. My question stays with this, Jacobus, is what happened to the role of men? Why did men, let me call it, why did they go, if I can call it, why did they go soft? Why did they forsake the provider role? Why did they go towards saying, listen, I'm accepting this parameters of being a man, all right? And not stand up to what masculinity needed to be, the original design for this. You know, I love women, and me and my wife, you know the backstory, and I went through a messy 8 months, okay, betrayal and all these things, and healing and recovering my marriage after a messy thing and being vulnerable. But I think, Jacobus, it's the stress of that system. A man cannot, well, no, I don't want to say he cannot, but I think what men does is they retract, they repress all these emotions, the stress, the competition of what's going on in the market, and now they repress, and they have to get that let out. They need to vent either towards other men, because if they go to vent towards a woman or a wife, now they call it toxic masculinity, because we just vent, or what do you call it, communicate on a men's level with what we are born to do. Now it gets toxic. All right. Now, yes, we don't speak about emotions, and there's a lot of things going beyond that. But the frustration of being a man in today's, I think the lifestyle that we live today, Jacobus, is where's the masculinity? Where's the room for the masculinity today? There's no
So
room for it. It's
yeah,
production and competition.
yeah, I think it's all it's that, but also a few things is one is there's fathers are less present with the raising of kids,
Yeah,
right? So father being a father with for their sons, because most sons get raised by their moms or
yeah,
grandmoms, and so not having that father energy and masculine energy there is impacting it.
yeah,
Secondly, is most of us have grown up in an era where the fathers were also not present and sharing that love for their kids. So even though they were at home and not, they were still not, it was difficult for them because they grew up in an era where men had to be strong, like Nazneen says. And so the father wasn't present telling the kids that they love them and that they are there for them. And then thirdly, I think one thing is men stopped being part of men's group, right? In the old days, they were men's clubs. They were gentlemen's clubs. They
yeah,
were a place where brotherhood would come together
yeah,
and would have these conversations, not to have at home. And that then lead to not having standards and values. And here's the thing is, when did you last see a man call out another man on the way they treat their wife or their kids, or
exactly.
taking someone for it? Nobody is taking that step up and addressing that in their brothers.
Yeah,
So again, men are alone.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And if you talk to, like you say, in a men's group or accountability group, if you talk towards our other brother like a guy lashing out or communicating his heart as a man, and talking towards his wife, or talking towards a woman like that, or to a woman like that, and he talks like to a man, it's going to be a completely different story. He will not do that because he will be held accountable for it. And this is the thing: we need to talk to other gentlemen. As a God fearing man, Jacobus, we uphold values and systems as a man, but you cannot act like the man that you're supposed to be in society today. If you
Yeah.
go out and say, listen, guys, I'm going to compete on a fair pay playground, like you said, like being a white South African male, I'm 46 years old, me trying to apply for a job, if I don't apply my skill set to doing something for myself, there's no chance. So level the playing field, let us compete on an even level, and let's see, doing the manly thing, hierarchy.
So here's a question, and it comes from Taz. It says, "How do we as women help our men?" And I think this is a question to answer. How do women then support men to be the man? What would you say? I'm gonna give you my answer. What
What
would
would I
you?
say, Cobus?
Yeah. What can women do to help their men?
It's difficult. With the thing that I've been through, I did an exercise last week. When did we speak the last time? About 2 weeks ago. So I did an exercise last week. And for me to verbalize the frustration and emotions as a man is quite challenging. So what I did is I love journaling. All right. So
Yes.
I journaled my whole story, my frustrations in the rawest form that I could possibly do it. And I handed that whole document to my wife. I said, listen, please read this and understand. I'm telling you, it completely changed the perspective because she now saw the emotion behind the frustration. And maybe communicating, if I could answer that question, communicating to a man from a place, as you know, I hear your frustration and emotions. Tell me about your heart, not what you fear. Tell
Yeah.
me what's behind the heart. Because the fear is just a projection of what is actually in the heart.
So, and to add to that, I think women should listen more and not respond. I think one thing is how women can support their men is sometimes men just want someone to listen and not mother them and not give them advice, because we just sometimes need someone to listen to us and that we're going through it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of feminists might not like me, but however, I want to add to it is that we women has realized that for centuries men were the providers, were the ones that were leading, were the king. And yes, and today's time most women are now providing for a household, and that is impacting the men's emotional state.
Yeah.
However, it's to what I would say is, and I think that had an impact on my relationship in my in the past as well, that when I stopped supporting, the pressure was on the women, and going through my health challenges and financial challenges, in the end of the day, ended up in a divorce. However, is that to support a man is to allow him to make the decisions, to lead,
Mm.
make him feel like a king of the home, no matter if he's not the main provider. But it's having that hard conversations of what does the man want. However, the man also needs to play the role of doing his best to lead, make the choices in the home, make his woman feel like a princess. And here's the thing: I think one thing is that we never should stop dating even after we married, because you went through your same challenges. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolute. Jacobus, on that thing is you have to keep the fire going. It's difficult if you have all these mental challenges, and I think this is why I do what I do. What is the reason behind men collapsing? And is the men, are they holding on to this narrative that this is how a man should look like? Even let's say the wife is in good competition or earning equivalent or even a higher income. Why is she a threat? changing changing the framework on that and say, listen, instead of being my number one competition, my lead competition, why not reframe this and say, listen, we're working together towards a better outcome and not taking it as a competition. Reframing that, getting the structures correct, and say, listen, you're a man because of X, Y, and Z, not a competition that your wife bring or the marketplace brings. And I think when we take up that thing and work from the correct frameworks, Jacobus, we will see a lot of healed men, knowing that, listen, this inside of me, this thing that's going on inside of me. If I sort this out, I can walk as a healed man, compete in the marketplace, and just do my thing. What is the reason that I need to collapse if a woman is in a higher position that I am in, even if I've got better qualifications, even though I'm a man? Reframing that thing is, listen, let me be there. If I'm not satisfied being in a job or my wife, get a better job, do a better thing, do
So
something for yourself.
So there's two things. I want to just quickly read some comments. Or some from school admin management says, I think that women can support men by helping men with what they desire most, which is to be needed and be respected. And then on TikTok, Taz says that also men also need to choose to step up as the leader at the home. And here's a question for us to answer. How do okay? There's two questions. Wait. One is, I feel a man needs to first make the choice to want to be a better husband, a person, and a parent. And then the question is, but then how do we help men with low self-esteem? What would you say? Because we both have been through it. I've been through that low self-esteem. You've
Mm.
been hitting that rock bottom. What? How can women help us for men to wake up and get over that low self-esteem?
For me, Jacobus, with the whole thing that I went through is the support. Even though I'm hurting. So listen, let's have a sit down. I don't challenge you, I support you. Let's work through this together. Let's work forward together. And then encouraging that guy to get momentum. Encouraging the past few days, my wife's been sitting with me after she read that thing that I journaled. It was a complete change of heart. She understands me. She understands the frustration. Building something I believe in, not going back to the corporate industry, building my dream now. She understands it. There's a lot of pressure in it, but she encourages me to do that and keep on doing it. Now, what does it mean to be a better man? The question. How does a better man look like? Is it a supportive man? Is it a man that sits and listen? What does it look like? I think for me, communication is key. But me and you talking is communication. It's communicating what's actually not the topical communication. What's actually beneath the surface? Let's communicate that. What's the true intentions of the heart? And then building from there and becoming a better man. Because then I understand my wife actually, and she understands me.
And I think, and something happened, and Taz says, I think there are different approaches for different men. And I totally agree with you,
Yeah.
Taz. And I think there's something had to happen in your life with your relationship, Vanner. And I understand, when that happened, it forced you to relook at everything and have those
Yeah.
conversations with your wife. So here's my thing where I believe that men need today, to get out, and women, is we have to, I think men are longing to be listened to and be seen as the king
Mm.
of the house and have that support.
Yeah.
Plus, but we need a vision, we need a dream, we need a goal.
Yeah.
And if the woman can't, if the woman is very strong, right? And this is what I would suggest that I would love to do in my future relationships. And this is where you come in, Van, and I'm going to use you as example. Is that women have to sit down with their husbands and get have that conversation, and that honest, open conversation. So there's someone that I know. She and her husband every Sunday they have a round table meeting at the table where everything goes. The whole family, even the kids are there, where they
Yeah.
sit down and they talk about what it's not personal. So what's they say it's not personal, it's honesty hour, it's honesty table. Is where everyone has the opportunity to say what they are not happy about,
Yeah.
right? And to remind the family what is our common vision and goal. What are we here for? How do we need to support each other,
Mm.
to live each other's dreams? So first and foremost, having that round table. I love that idea because she
Yeah.
said that by having that, that they are addressing the hard conversation, right? That's the first one. Second thing, for today's times, and this is what I would love to have in my relationships going forward, is to have a relationship coach. And I think, Werner, it's not just that you are not a relationship coach, but it's where you have the conversation, bringing in someone, and this is where you can help men in a
Mm.
relationship to step up as that man in the relationship. Before I give over to you, Sasta is listening, and she's now saying, we all want different things. Understanding our love languages and using different tools like your journaling allows us to unlock different opportunities to share. Now,
Mm.
this is where you come in, Banner, is to help men. So, how do you help men in those circumstances when they come to you? Do you believe what I've just said about the coaching, about the honesty hour? What would you say about what I just said?
Jacobus, yes, definitely coaching. I think my approach is getting honest of where you are in your relationship, your finances, your health, and your wealth. If in my coaching practice, so if we don't work from that approach and say, listen, this is where you are as a man. Listen, I'm threatened by my wife. My finances got my sex drive is down the drain. Listen, brother, you're not broken, you're disconnected. All right. You're disconnected from the original design. So you need to find identity, your mission, like you said, Jacobus, a brotherhood and structure. All right. The the idea of sitting around a table, it's a great idea. But the funny thing, Jacobus, is we hold back. We as men hold back in fear of I don't know if it's really fear of not showing our vulnerability to other people and say, listen, that's why I went the journaling route, because there's no vulnerability. The only vulnerability is taking that journal or document and passing it on to my wife. I find it difficult to communicate, let's say, around the table. It could be previous fears, it could be whatever the case may be, but I find it, my journaling flows and I write my heart. When I respond verbally, I tend to think about it before I speak, and then I hold back. So the problem doesn't come forth, and I need to work from a holistic point of view. So listen, this is where we are in our sexual relationship. It's not working currently. Jacobus, a man needs to be sexually active. Sorry for your platform, but this is me. At least 3 to 4 times a week, not a year, a week, to offload stress, to blow off steam. It's a man is designed like this. Maybe the ladies would be happy about it. And becoming a more connected individual, but working from that point of complete honesty and vulnerability
Yes,
for
but the
me.
man also need to realize to get that 3 to 4 times a week, they have to, they have to at least do foreplay. I think some men have lost the thing about foreplay because of, I'm going to call it corn because of social media.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we
Yeah.
will get blocked. But it's stuff like that. Social media. I follow some Timothy Kieswetter. I love his pages.
Oh,
Gesonde,
yeah.
yeah,
Garrison.
yeah, and he talks about, and people anonymous are talking about
Mm.
having intimacy and all of that, and how men has lost that thing of looking after the women and
Yeah.
looking at them as a queen and foreplay, and that's not happening. And I think
Yeah.
this is also, and this is why it's important, Werner, for you, for a kingsman, is to really create that environment where you can empower men to be a man, a king, a
Yeah.
priest. a God-fearing man, a man of principle, a
Yeah.
man of value, a man of valor to show up. I think that is important. Taz says we need emotional connection.
Yeah.
It's not
Definitely.
I agree with Cobus. Hey, at least one woman agrees with Cobus. That's the first. Again, how do we empower men? Whether you're a Kingsman, a coach, how are you going to get men to stand up as kings again and priests? What is your plan?
Reframing the whole man. You know, a detached man is a dangerous man. Men need to be dangerous but safe. If he knows his limitations, if he knows where's the limit, and I can push it to that limit in my family, all right, but I need to preserve that relationship. There's a new dynamic in relationships when you know I can trust this man with my heart. He's a dangerous man, but he is safe.
Yes,
Getting back to that manly thing, and then getting that direct. Why do men go towards that corn that you're mentioning now? It's just a detached state. It's a place where men, and I made a study of this thing, Jacobus, affairs, extramarital, what they watch on social media, it's bombarded with this thing. And it's
yes,
it's it's a place of acceptance. I don't have to perform within certain limitations. There's freedom.
yes,
Why is this? It's because I'm detached. I don't know what my role as a man is. And getting back to the basics, the ground level of the values as a man, what your purpose is, the structures, the plans that I have moving forward from this place, and just rebuild from that. Rebuilding relationship, health, wealth, finances, and relationships. That's the four pillars that I build my business on. And if I deconstruct the lies and rebuild that, Jacobus, and a man knows what he is, not a
yes.
detached man, an engaged man, engaged in his relationship, his business, his finances, and his children.
and
It's
and
a,
and
it's
also
safe.
his relationship with God. Be
Yeah,
a
spirituality. Yeah,
spirituality is also the foundation. I think there's a lot of foundation that is important that needs to be empowered. And yes, affairs are does happen, and corn has happened. And I think the world is just so easy. It's like McDonald's. It's easy to get a hold of, and
exactly.
again, there's celebrations around women. There's Women's Days. There's Women Months. There's nothing at the moment as because let me ask you this: if you had to think, which male leader is there that we can aspire to be like, that gives us as an example of what a man should be? If you had to think, women have a lot of them; they can pick and
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah.
Who's can you mention 5 men up there that we can look up to and say, "This is a man I want to be like"? Can
I-
anyone on social media, can you tell me
mm,
which male leaders are out there? And please don't mention Andrew Tate. Mention other men at least, right?
yeah.
That is, as women, we need to learn to be present and connect with one another. 100%, Taz, I agree with you.
Yeah.
There's too many disconnected men in society. Oh, Taz says, what about someone like Grant Cardone? He treats his wife like a queen. Oh, okay, there's at least one. Totally,
Jacobus,
I think that. Do you know Grant Cardone, Banner?
I know Grant Cardone, yes. Jacobus, the thing is, this is the funny thing. We tend to match social influences
Yes,
and how they conduct themselves as as models
yes,
of wealth, health, relationships, and spirituality. You don't know what's going on a sub level. On my personal Facebook, I applaud my wife. I adored her. Was there trouble in our marriage? Certainly there was. So I can put on this mask and operate within that thing. To me, a perfect individual, a perfect husband, wife, would be the individual that I want to be, the empowered individual, and being a role model for the younger generation moving forward. Because if I can see the fruit, show me the fruit of Grant Cardone and his marriage, show me the fruit of his finances. You can certainly see it in some areas, but go and have that conversation. I was shocked. I follow some spiritual leaders, and the other day I found out this guy, he was just bashing on his wife.
Yeah.
He was physically abusive, but they've got this perfect marriage. That's why I say I don't like comparing towards a role model, becoming a role model. I think that's the correct thing. And say,
So,
listen, I'm going to step up to the plate and be the best individual for this relationship.
yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up. I think you can just check in the past. The moment, that's why I say, the moment someone blast as a male or female blast on social media how amazing family they have. Just think about our previous number 9, him and Amor. You know, it
Yeah,
was all over. Ooh, they are the best in love. And then there was Tom Cruise that jumped on a couch. He's found his wife, and how that ended up. I think it's like you said. It's with your fruit, and yes, no marriage is perfect, no
yeah,
relationship is perfect. However, I think the world needs some guidance about what is it to being a
definitely.
man, and for women to realize also what is it being a man. I think it's for men to find purpose again,
Yeah,
because we live in a world where, if you really think about it, men is not needed as well, because most of the time women provide, women decide when there's going to be sex, women decide when we're having kids. A woman is so empowered that men has lost their purpose, and I think it's to get back to that point of helping men to discover, okay, what is my purpose, what is my values, and to call each other out and
yeah,
create that place of where men can come and have that honest conversations and
yeah,
cry if they need to cry, and
definitely.
not, yeah. When is the
Definitely.
last time you cried, brother?
Listen, you see the sex over here?
Yeah,
I've spent 8 months on the bathroom floor. Walkie, you know the story. So I'm an emotional creature by habit. I've got the moustache. I just shave the beard. Maybe I'll get less emotional. But I'm an emotional creature by habit, Jacobus. But I think, like you said, on that topic of men, I think a grounded individual, a grounded man or woman, won't have that identity crisis of I don't belong. And I would like to hear your opinion on this. If I know who I am and supposed to be, and the roles or the functions that I need to fulfill, will I see the outside world as a threat to me? Or will I create? We are born to be creators.
yeah,
It's tough. I'm not living. It's tough. You know my story. I've seen mega successes and I've burned businesses. I think 6 of them.
yes.
But you have
And
to get up, and it's tough. Yes, I don't say there's not no such thing as trauma and difficulties and hurts, and it is there. But we need to communicate and get grounded again and say, listen, this is who I actually am. No outside influence can actually have an influence on how I see myself moving forward and the person that I need to become for the people that I most love and adore. And the
yeah,
individual that communities need, being that example.
just to bring into it, Taz says one thing here is that if you take Sia Kulisi and Rassi Erasmus, that you thought they had the perfect marriages, ended up also getting divorced. And now
Yeah.
she's asking, what are the red flags in marriage? When do you know it's far beyond repair? Yo, that's a powerful question. What is the red flags in a marriage, Verner? I wanted to hear your point. And when do you know it's far beyond repair?
Jacobus, red flags, communication, and
Distance.
emotional separation for me. Unrepairable, nothing is unrepairable. If you decide, listen, this is going to work, it's only unrepairable, unfixable if you decide so. I drove 600 kilometers through the night because I've got a principle. My father and mother was divorced, and I said I will not go through a divorce. And I learned a lesson in my life: never is a long time. Never is a really long time until it gets there. I drove 600 kilometers through the night to go and confront the woman that I love. Give her the choice to make the decision and then rebuild from there. Make the decision. Do you want to rebuild? Yes or no? No? Okay, then it's not fixable. But if you commit to it, it's tough. It's really tough. But it's worthwhile, and everything is repairable. Everything is fixable. Even a relationship with kids, drug addicts. Doesn't matter where you are, it's fixable if you've got the commitment.
It has to come from both parties. I think,
Yes,
adding to
definitely.
what you said, I think some of the red flags for me, if I take my relationship, is one, when you stop communicating, you're just living life. The kids become important, so you live your life around the kids. You're not having that conversations again that you used to when you just got married, dreaming and goals. You live past each other, so communication stops happening. But I'm talking communication, honest, the real communication
Yeah,
about where we are and what we're
yeah,
going through. So that is a red flag. A red flag is the distance, where the other one doesn't like checking in the partner of how you're doing, what's happening, where are you, letting them know during the day, I'm going to be home at 5 o'clock, see you later, should I bring food, thinking a little bit more for the other partner as well. I'm talking for
yeah,
both. And that stops doing, where the other partner is more on their phone, because I know a lady friend of mine called me out. Her name is Taryn. She's like, you're too much on your phone, Cobus. You're all the time on your phone, you know. And then I realized I was like that in my relationship as well. I started living on social media, so I became distant. I found relationships with friends somewhere else.
mm,
Um, I think all of that had an impact on my relationship. That is red flags.
yeah. It's
Um,
disconnected lifestyle.
Disconnected. There you are. Um, Repairable. It is only repairable if both parties are willing to do the work.
Exactly. Yeah,
If the one has given up, you can't force the other person, and then then you have to understand if the one doesn't want to. But here's the thing, Vanna. Yes, Darren says not any woman men will drive 600 kilometers. There's also something called toxic comfort in a marriage, yes, and we can just add it to that. But if you have not done whatever it takes in your relationship to prepare it, then you can then I say, okay, then you are welcome to make the decision you need to, because what it
yeah,
means whatever it takes. Have you brought in a mediator? Have you brought in a relationship coach? Have you implemented a weekly date night? Have you implemented a weekly honesty hour where we just chat, where you really, it's like a bank, where you really have put
yeah,
investment in your relationship, and after, let's say, a period of 6 months or a year, nothing has changed and it's still the same, guess what? Then I believe, then from my personal side, is then if you
mm,
need to make a difficult decision, done.
yeah,
It's like you said, you were willing to do whatever it takes
yeah,
to be married and not have that divorce and work on the relationship.
yeah. Of course, a funny thing is, I think people need to watch out for this trap. There's a lot of counselors and experts, and we drove from George to Krooman. It's 800 kilometers to go and attend a marriage seminar, a spiritual one.
Yeah.
Did it help? No, it did not, because it didn't address the communication and the disassociation that we had. It didn't address it. You can only change if you're willing to change, like you just said. So if you make that mind shift and say, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes, intentional shifts, intentional sacrifices towards, I will sacrifice certain behaviors, then it will work. It can work. My wife went to a Christian seminar just here outside Grootbrak. There was a lady, just a little bit of a testimony maybe for somebody that's desperate out there. A husband had an affair with a friend. He filed for a divorce and she refused him the divorce for 3 years. She pleaded with him, prayed for him. He didn't want anything to do with him. Then he met up with a circle of men, brothers, and he started working with them, sharing frustrations, sharing the hurts. And they are back together now for, I think, 11 months, remarried. Persistence. Persistence. I feel people give up to. I come out of a community. The Kalahari people are a different breed of animals, and we hate to speak English. So I'm really battling tonight. I'm doing whatever it takes, brother. But just keep at it. Don't give up, because statistics say 62.5% of first marriages end up in divorce. 70 or I think 75% of second marriages end up in divorce. Why? Because we didn't deal with the emotional baggage, the crises, and most of them come from the men. Gents, sort yourself out. Ladies, support your husband. Gentlemen, support your wife.
And I think, and this is where it's important for men to be part of a men's group, to have that main conversation,
No,
and a place where they can unload their frustration.
mm,
However, it needs to be the right circle of men so that they can
no,
get the right
no, no,
advice.
no.
And look, the world is out there, is challenging, and
Definitely.
someone says we need more men's groups, and one is because women are tend to be the implementators who get tired and hope starts depleting, and they're losing hope. And I think that's why it's so important to have someone like you, Verner, to help with Kingsmen. Look, I'm going to be honest. I've been through my challenges as well, being through a divorce, not seeing my kids, losing hope. Then I go on dates, and then the women don't want men; they want, or they just tell you how bad men are, and then you realize,
Mm.
shucks, okay, now I'm on a date with you. Are you comparing? Am I now? Are you now looking for the red flags and the triggers that I'm gonna? So I don't feel like a man because I'm just honest and open and not playing the game, and then realize women are just also playing tough. So it implements us men. They've done a study now, Vanner, that men between 20 and 30 internationally, not South Africa, internationally, I saw it on a podcast, have given up on being in a relationship, that they are committing to being celibate. Can you believe that? That they are not even, they stopped looking for relationships.
It's unreal.
Imagine what impact this is going to have in the world in 10, 20 years from now.
It's going to be catastrophic, Jacobus. And if you like it or not, men are designed for a purpose. Women are designed for a specific purpose. They're not designed to carry the burden of corporate. They're not designed to carry the burden of being the sole provider. They're not. You can argue with me till next year this time. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. You're
Yeah.
designed for a specific. I'm not saying that you cannot be competitive in the market. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to look at the holistic scenario and say, listen, what is the place of the man and the woman in a relationship, in the corporate area, in whatever field there is? Men need to step up. Times have changed,
Yeah.
right? They need to support the women in the areas that they need to support. If the the provider or the largest segment of the provision comes from them, great. Support them in that. Don't fight them. Support them. Give them a support as a man, but don't forsake your manlyhood for that. Don't do that. And ladies, the same.
I think, and the reality in today's time is that sometimes women is going to be the leader, women is going to be the provider, how it is set up, and I think it's to have that honest conversations, and
Yeah.
And during the day, everyone fulfill their role. But when the evening happens, even if the women are the provider, is for the woman to allow the man to be a man and support him in that. Plus, like you said, for the man to make the life easier for the woman because he's
Yeah.
been working hard during the day to assist with the kids, to assist with the cooking, to assist things that normally the women would do. For the man to come in and says, "But I will support you and make your life easier because you're
Yeah.
making my life easier." And I think it's creating that environment that we are
Yeah.
one team. We are. I like to say one team, one band, one sound, one energy, because togetherness,
Yeah.
it's something that we are a unit. We're not separate. Taz says, "Men, please step up. We're not that complicated. We just want love, just as ourselves, just as yourselves." Yeah. So in the end of the day, we all just want love. Am I right, Banner? So we.
All we want. Love and support. That's all.
So
Not complicated at all. And you know, Jacobus, it's really fun. If you think it's not a competition. It's so much fun to understand each other. I'm telling you, I've been married now. Next year is 25 years.
wow.
Okay. 25 years next year. And I'm telling you now, this past 8 months, despite of the pain and the frustrations, it's been the best time of the 25 years. We're actually communicating hard for the first time.
Yeah, to think I would have been married 20 years this year if I stayed married. Oh, damn, I
Stop being sober.
yeah, I think a powerful lesson. So Werner, it's been a nice conversation. I think we need to have these conversations more around the topic,
Mm.
around what is it to be a man, what is it to have values and standards.
Yeah.
And so, how can people find more about you, Werner? Where can they go and find you?
Okay, so social pages. It's my I'm driving the social pages Verner Rood or Kingsmen SA, and then website kingsmensa.co.za.
So, kingsmensa.co.za.
That's the one.
Yeah, so I just changing your name as well. Okay, guys and ladies, it's Vanner Rood. Let your men connect to Vanner. He's a man of God. He's all about faith. He's all about making men king again, priest of the home. If you have a man that needs some guidance, please let him reach out to Vanner. Vanner will have a call with them free of charge,
Free
and
of charge.
free of if there's any connection and wants to step and go on a journey with Vanner, please, let them reach out. I think Vanner brings has been through challenges, and he will share it with them on the call to make a man understand that no matter what you've gone through, Vanner has been there and is going through it. So, Vanner, just a
Yeah.
shout out to you. Thank you for last minute. I like 20 minutes before the call, I said, Vanner, are you ready? It's like, ready for what? And look at that. He showed up, Vanner.
Jacobus, listen, it's always a privilege and it's such an honor to be even on the same platform as you. And I really appreciate what you're doing and opening up the platform for me to at least reach out. And I think the future holds great things uh,
Yes.
for our people, not just men, but our people. And if we can get to a point of restoration, restoring marriages, we will restore the generations to come. That's my whole heart, and I'm driven for that. It's not easy. I know it. I've lived it. I've seen it. So yeah, but it's worthwhile. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Jacobus.
Thank you to you. To everyone that has showed up and listened, thank you for giving your time tonight to be on here and just join us for a nice live stream and to have a topic and conversation. I know I've been quiet for the last month. I was a little bit sick and then was busy. However, I'm back and we're going to be more live as well. Just to read, this journey what we're on is that what I want to do is tonight, I want to say, the fire has burned. Some truth has been spoken, and the sparks now all live in you. it's important for you to carry this flame further. And I want you to follow, please like and share so that more warriors may rise. And let all stand and tall and live the whatever it takes philosophy. Tonight we had Vanner Root. I am Cobus, the Viking Visser, and this was whatever it takes. Now the fire is in your hands. Go and ignite others with it. And again, a reminder: please follow, like, and share my social media and Vanner, so the tribe can grow stronger. Until the next battle, stay unbreakable. Any last words from you, Vanner, and then we call it a night.
No, I think you put it to bed, Jacobus. Thank you so much.
Okay. Love you, brother.
Same
And
to you, my
thank you
friend.
for willing to have this hard conversation. And may we have inspired someone tonight. And may you attract the right men in your life to make a difference. And may God bless you in what you
Thank
are
you so
doing.
much. Same
And
to you, my friend.
let's walk in faith and live without regrets and do whatever it takes. Have a beautiful night.
Thanks, brother. Bye bye.